I did have the chance to have a one-on-one interview with the vice chair of the California Democratic Party, Eric Bauman. Bauman is also the chair of the LA County Democratic Party, and as you could imagine, he has a lot to say. And I first asked him about the changing landscape of his party.
Every 4 years, the Democratic Party is enlivened with energy around the presidential race, and this year is no different. Between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, the excitement that is coursing through Democrats is unimaginable. And you see it in the turnout at rallies, you see it in the engagement of new voters, with tens of thousands of young new voters being signed up really every month. This extraordinary metamorphosis of our party as more young people engage, as more people of color engage, as more women engage, has just been tremendous for us.
What is infusing this energy behind Bernie Sanders and also the energy behind Hillary Clinton?
The energy behind Bernie Sanders has a lot to do with the fact that he speaks in a very different way than most politicians. He speaks with a tone of authenticity that speaks truth to power, that's not afraid to tackle institutions that usually people are much more gentle with. Hillary Clinton, besides bringing extraordinary experience to the table as a candidate for president, she also is about to break the biggest glass ceiling that remains left. The fact that we have never had a woman president in our history as a nation. For many people, that is the next logical place for us to go after having our first African American president. Besides the enthusiasm and excitement that's being caused by the presidential race, we have on the Democratic side this incredible pair of women running for the United States Senate, Attorney General Kamala Harris and Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, and they both infuse their natural basis. And then you have the Trump and Cruz effect. Latinos in California are angry. When Donald Trump talks about building a 30-foot wall and Cruz tries to up him by saying, no, it needs to be a 50-foot wall, that gets people angry. And we are seeing more new Latino citizens who are registering to vote, not only because the Democratic Party is the party of diversity, but because they know that Cruz or Trump want to hurt them.
Do you see a good turnout from the Latino population in the June primary?
I think Latinos have reasons to vote this year. I think they're excited about the presidential race. I think they'll be excited about the Senate race, and I think they're excited to vote against Ted Cruz or Donald Trump.
Speaking of Cruz and Trump and the Republican Party, what gives you more angst or enjoyment? The circus show of the Republican Party or this new infighting we're seeing in your Democratic Party?
You know, I don't think that competition is infighting. I think what you have is two different segments of Democratic activists and Democratic voters who have a candidate they support. But you know what? The Democratic Party heals and comes back together.
I do remember a day, Eric, when it seems like all the Dems were on the same page and nothing got lost in the translation. And now I report on these stories and you've got liberal environmentalists fighting liberal pro-business folks, and you have various factions seeming to sort of fracture within the Democratic Party.
There's always been this factionalism, but here's why. Because the Democratic Party is a big tent party. It truly is a big tent party. And people who are members of the Democratic Party who share common goals of putting people first and focusing on a people-based politics, but they range from far left to right of center. You have literally socialist Democrats, and you have pro-life and anti-marriage equality Democrats, and gun-owning Democrats. And what unites us is in doing the kind of work that enables people to have a better life, a better chance to get ahead, to be able to afford to go to school, and if somebody's not ready to go to college, to make sure that there's career and technical education available for them, to make sure that health care is a right for everybody, not a privilege for the special few.
When the best that this country can produce as a presidential candidate on the right is Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, and on the left, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, is there something wrong?
So you think that somebody who served as the Secretary of State of the United States in 2 terms in the United States Senate, or somebody who served 30 years in the Senate and the Congress, you don't think that they are top flight candidates? I mean, Donald Trump, listen, Donald Trump is great because America needed an entertainer-in-chief this year. We needed something to lift the spirits of Americans, especially those who haven't yet felt the upswing in the economy. And Trump has provided that because he's great entertainment. And Ted Cruz, I mean, he's so far right You know, his left hand doesn't know where his right hand is. He's so far right. So I think that this whole notion is wrong.
What is the final message you want to leave our viewers with?
First and foremost, you got to vote. Okay, we all have our struggles. We all have our difficult times. We all have our difficult days. The only way we make our world better is to vote.
Get out the vote. Absolutely. You know, it's funny because Bauman sounds like he could be running for president. Well, he is actually running for something, although not commander-in-chief, obviously. Bauman is actually a candidate to be the chair of the California Democratic Party. Again, Rick and Elizabeth, as you know, currently he's the vice chair right now, and that vote takes place next year.